I just realized the only thing keeping this video fresh is my audio, because I don't have like fun C++ background music audio, and I don't have uh like any good PC sounds going on here. Whoa! Whoa, mouse! Whoa! Mouse! Mouse, what the fuck? Where the fuck you going, buddy? Mouse! Mouse! It's just gone. Oh, jeez. Whoa. Okay, so today started pretty well already. Hey, look, we're almost friggin' on time. 12:54. That's close enough to midday. Anyway, I had some stuff to do. I had some stuff that I actually needed to take care of. Oh shit. Please redock. Please redock. I didn't mean to redock it there, did I? Undock. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. That's actually really nice. Oh, sugar. Finish me. What do you mean finish me? What? I didn't finish it last time? This is how much I take in. This is why these sessions are only an hour long. Any more than that, my brain just turns off. Told you. I told you. Really, it's been observed in adult humans that it's actually a better thing to try 45-minute increments. In fact, in children who cannot pay attention, as many short, intense bursts as you can fit in, with breaks in between. You get up to like the zenith, the apex of a human's ability to concentrate at like an age. I can't remember what age it was. And then you can get to about 50 minutes, an hour, and then after that it's the other way. It's the other side of the hill. You got to start breaking it back down into chunkoids. Otherwise, the brain just sucks the information whole closed. Anyway, we have an ominous page. I just opened the camera. I did not mean to open the camera. I meant to open the Adobe Acrobat Reader. There we go. There we go. We got a poof. We're ready to roll. I got these tiny mocha frappuccinos because they're on offer. Because usually they're extortions. Like, I don't know who does the pricing for this shit. All right, in England, and I respect the fact that it's in a glass bottle rather than a shitty aluminium can. But deal with me. In Japan, it's like equivalent exchange rate £1, £1.20 max for cold coffee, right? Okay. In England, not the case. 170 is the standard, and it goes up from there, which I just think is ridiculous. For refreshments and beverages, I just think it's ridiculous how expensive this shit's getting. Right? And it's got to fucking calm the fuck down, right? I know we got to import coffee beans if it's going to be coffee. And I know that importing stuff is fine, but Japan is just as far away from Brazil as we are. Okay, there's no fucking excuse. Coca-Cola Company, I know you own the Georgia coffee brand in Japan. So if you're watching, please, there is a niche, there is a market. And if no other small business, quote unquote, is going to take that opportunity to niche it up, fucking Coca-Cola, you may as well just start selling Georgia coffee at petrol stations, at supermarkets, please. Near me, preferably. Not near anyone else. Fuck everyone else. I mean, what? But anyway, they were on offer. They were like reduced cheap, so I bought them, and I'm gonna drink them. And that's my coffee for today. Not hot, but cold. Also, thanks to last stream, we have a zoom in panel there. I hope you all appreciate that. I hope it's gonna make reading code on the stream maybe a little bit easier. I do respect that it's maybe not quite as wide as it could be. I'm just gonna trim this side in a little bit. I'm gonna bring it over a little bit. And then I guess I'm just gonna extend it out there. Most code isn't gonna get longer than that. If you know what, if code's getting longer than half a screen, maybe we can just put it on a second line and it'll be fine, like that. Isn't that better? That's so much better, isn't it? Finish me. Anyway, it says finish me, so that it insinuates the fact that it is in fact unfinished code. What does it do? There were build errors. Would you like to continue and run the last successful build? No. I put that in as code, that's why. Because I'm a brazen lad. Who is this? Nice. That's didn't give me output. What? Didn't give me output. It doesn't give output anymore. That's because we've got the code in a try, right? Wait, what? Let me just scroll up the chat to see how they were handling this before, because like our code works if there is no try block. I remember that. Let me just scroll up and I don't want to note. The original program that manages your interaction with user appears inside the try block. Parallel program is wrapped inside a try because it might throw an exception type runtime error. This try block has a single catch clause which handles exceptions of type code, and the try block will throw a runtime error. Okay. Oh! Oh, hold on, there's a butterfly in my room. I gotta get it out. It wants to be out. 2 secs. It's gonna end up being a case where I I go to put on a suit and all my shirts have been fucking eaten. Almost certainly. Where did I put my Kodi keyboard? My soft cap, dome capped, wireless boy. The bigger question is, where did that mosquito and daddy longlegs that were in here go? Because those insect boys, they're not the biggest candidates for genius of the year. If you catch my thinking, they're how the fuck does a try block work? I think I may have written it wrong. No. You do try, then you have your code block, and then you have catch, and then you have your code block. So if I were to run this and force a div. Oh, Jesus Christ. Notebooks just flying around the room randomly. Thank you. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Jesus. Why is it got to be? Why is it got to be this hard? Why is it? Okay, so that works. So I don't get it. I don't. Really, we want to move the try to here, right? Do we even need a try? Maybe we don't need a try. Maybe we just take that out. We do divide float alpha beta. Oh no, you need a try for a catch. Okay. Okay, you need to try for a catch. You know what? Something about this I'm not getting. Can you use can you use a try as a conditional? Can you use I'm just reading, okay? Just give me a sec. I just okay. Okay. So the example code has this in a while, and this is all in a while loop. Okay, I think I understand. So So if we cut that out of there, then we put it in here. If beta is equal to 0, we don't actually need curly braces here. Fun fact, single line of code in an if statement. Boom. And then so that might work. No, build errors. Error 696. Like that? Is that what you wanted? Bruh. I like how it just escapes the whole program. No, that's fine. That's beautiful. Okay, so I see. Right. If you've got a while C in alpha beta, if you just want to, if you just want it to happen on one time, you just put a break at the end. What the hell? Why didn't I see that before? That's enlightening. I like that. I've learned something today. I feel good. I feel good. Let's get back now to the exercise section. Oh. Well, okay, so the next bit is to rewrite it so that it prompts us for new input. And that's fine. We just take the break out, right? Put another C out in, yeah, sure. Don't really need to put another C out in though, do we? We can just try that. This should technically be an infinite loop, right? Ah, no. Um. Hack. Ah! God, oh, fuck off. This is why would you ever let me touch code? Let's go back to the example program because they have a quote unquote working functional loop that re-asks them for stuff. Oh, wow, okay. So we want a tiny bit of recursion going on. We want it to go back into itself rather than popping off. So when it hits that catch, it's just gonna continue, right? It's just gonna absolute muppet. Stop right there, criminal scum. Stop right here. Who deleted my T? No one devised by zero on my watch. Try again, king. Infinity. We don't want that infinity to show up. If I'm perfectly honest with you. We could put the go-to here. Does that work? Is that cool code? It doesn't look like it's cool code. Buddy says you can't do that. Struct div zero type name is not allowed. You can only have basic types if you're questioning a thing. Okay. If is valid. Oh yeah, is valid isn't a thing that we can do in this. That's an Unreal thing. Fuck. There you go. Horrible code for you. So we have try, if beta equals 0, throw div 0, absolute muppet. Catch div 0 error. See out error dot what endl. Stop right there, criminal scum. No one defies by 0 on my watch. And line try again, king. And then if beta does not equal 0, see out. So that Like, I get that this is teaching us how to do error stuff. I guess, kind of. I'm sorry. This is really annoying me. I can't zoom out of the preview mode. But how do I grab the top stuff then? Idiot. Who invented this program? So this is kind of hacky. Like I know it's trying to get us to the point at which we're putting error checking into our thing, and actual exception handling is going on. But at the same time, this would probably just work with a whole bunch of fucking ifs, right? And we've got ifs, and the whole reason we putting these in is so that we don't need to include a shit ton of ifs. If I'm not incorrect in assuming this, I probably am. But anyway, this should work perfectly on the outside, at least. I mean, it works. I mean, it's about as good as we could expect from me. But the problem is, when it gets to this part, of the code, it doesn't just go back to the try. It doesn't just go back to the cin, right? Anyway, what? I don't know. There's something that I'm not satisfied with this. The program isn't directly using the fact that there's errors and exceptions going on to subvert the program flow. I think that's what's bugging me. It does hurt. I do feel pain. I'm gonna put a character return there just so that you can see that it's text, that it's code. Stop right here, criminal. I'm gonna leave that in because it's so stupid. I'm gonna take that space out because it's not needed. But that's that done. We can move on to the next section. Or can we? Oh. Well, you know when I had it before that I had a go to in the try segment, that was actually perfect code on technicality. If I had like the option section that they had here where it asks you to input a character, and if the character is yes, it continues. If the character is no, it does not continue. It breaks. And if it broke, it would exit the loop completely. But I feel if I wanted to implement it cleanly, hello volume, I need a loop on the outside of this, and I'm not entirely sure what I'd put in that, but it would basically just be main. So I guess we have. Anyway, I don't know why there's so much space and all that, but there is. So cool. I'm gonna leave that as it is. It works. It's a bit hacky, but like I really do not like this. This is just horrible. I'm gonna put a note there. I'm gonna put a big old note. I don't like this. It's gross. Gross. Gross! Why is this keyboard so bad? It's old. Sometimes the keys will press 6 times in a row. You won't know why. Sometimes the keys will not press. So really, if you get to this point, you'd want a break which took you back to a point that reset the input and asked you for new input without triggering the divide float. Oh, do you know what? Do you know what? Do you know what? Fuck all of that noise. Else, I'm doing it right here. Needs a semicolon there. Boosh. And now we have a comment in the middle of nowhere, which doesn't do anything. So okay. So I'm guessing a throw like skips all the rest of the code and goes to the first break that it matches, right? It's basically the same code that I had before. Ah, that's so good. That makes me slightly happier. That it's practically the same code. It just doesn't have a second if statement at the end. It only has the if here, which I guess is a for branch. I've actually probably made this program twice as slow now, but oh well. But yeah, and if you wanted to add like a question mark there, and then a YN, and then a character in, and then if it was an N, you could add a break. And do you know what? Do you know what? We can do that. Try again, King. I'm just gonna shorten that to D. Cha D. Uh, I think that's pretty good. That's, I mean, what can I say? I took 2 minutes. What the hell? Why was I so scared about doing any of that kind of stuff? I probably butchered this code to fuck, but hey, who cares about that? I mean, I guess I should care. And that is actually the end of the chapter, the end of the section. We'll be moving on to section 6 after this. Kind of seems sucky to just move on to a section when I've only got like 18 minutes to move on to it with. It's only 1:30. But at the same time, I don't want to get wrapped up in some kind of weird, crazy project. You know what? I've got another coffee here. I'm just gonna skim over the chapter summary. Blah blah. Chapter 6 is functions. Whoopsie. You know what? We'll just move straight on. There is no point in not just moving straight on. Despite the fact that in the last exercise alone we used the function kaboom, float divide float in AB, float f equals float a divided by float b, return f. Takes in 2 ints, divides them, gives you the float value between them. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just a beautiful little... Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, mate. So I guess we'll do the introduction to functions, because functions are a good thing. Functions are the main route by which you make your C++ code legible and interpretable without actually knowing the specific actions of your code. It's a way by which you can condense the main function to a nice, concise, legible manuscript rather than having every function written out verbatim every time you call them. It also reduces typing stress because you only have to write the function out 1 time, etc., etc. There's plenty of good shit reasons why you would use functions rather than just writing everything out. So you can see right here we have our function divide float, and divide float used to have the error checking inside of it, doesn't anymore. But divide float is 3 lines of code. It was 5 lines of code technically, I guess, if you include the curly braces. And it includes the initialization of variables. It includes some weird shit going on. We got ins, we got floats out. It's a fairly messy function, let's be real. But by writing it as a function, we save 5 lines of code every time we need to put it in. Where is it? Divide float, there it is. So that would be, 5 lines of code, and the it would be, it's horrible. We had it, in fact. I'll see out your mama. Wow, that's pretty aggressive, huh? Okay, just ignore those. Just ignore everything up there. Yeah, so functions are pretty great. They're a good way of condensing your code, and they're a good way of using common functionality throughout a program that's split into multiple source files, such as C files, H files, and the whole shebang. Like when I looked at the Quake RTX source code, had to fuck around with that, trying to get it running on 960 by just deleting all the error checking. Don't do that. Crashes your PC. There are, functions. There's hundreds of H files in that code. and they all have their own functions, and they're all beautiful. H files are not just for fuck off, volume on. I really like the Google Nexus 5, by the way. It's a great phone. Of its era, of course. It's horrible now, but it's not horrible now, but it's not the same as, you know, the phones that you expect to have now. But of its era, it was a great. It's got a really good screen. It's very lightweight, and the graphene buttons, they feel really good when it's not in a case, and they really do feel really good when it's not in a case. Someone I gave this phone to, because they broke their old phone. I said, you can have this because I just upgraded. They actually broke the case next to the screen, next to the volume down button. Very angry about that. But moving on swiftly, and as swiftly as we possibly can. Bury that under a whole video that you can't bother to skim through. Function basics. A function definition typically consists of a return type, a name, a list of 0 or more parameters, and a body. Parameters are specified in a comma-separated list enclosed in parentheses. Actions that a function performs are specified in a statement block referred to as the function body. When we execute a function through the call operator, which is a pair of parentheses, the call operator takes an expression that is a function or points to a function. Inside the parentheses is a comma-separated list of arguments. The arguments are used to initialize the function's parameters. The type of a call expression is the return type of the function. So if we take our function cells float divide float, it returns a float value, and it needs to have input to it 2 integer values. It will initialize its own float value f, and it will initialize f to be the float value of integer a divided by the float value of integer b, and then it returns the float value of f. So there you have your type, your name, your list of arguments, your function, your code body, and your return value. Beautiful, simple, concise, fantastical. I don't know what you want from me. I had some weird trouble writing this. It kept being red text, and the reason for that is functions are not defined in the main loop, and I was trying to write it like here. So if you need a function, you gotta put it here or in a header file. And the reason I didn't put it here is because I'd have to be scrolling like 600 lines to get between the bottom and the top of my code. So I just put it in a header file, which of course I'm gonna end up with the same problem in the header file one day, when this boy gets filled up with shit. Yeah, it's 22 lines of code in the header file already. Anyway, yeah. And it's giving us some cheeky functions. It's giving us the factorial function, which everyone loves, but because the factorial function is recursive and deals with math multiplication, it's actually a horrible function. It's almost as bad as the Fibonacci sequence function, which is just a horrible function. It's one of those ones where, you know, if you want to slow someone's PC down, you just get every chord of Fibonacci. It's fine for the first, you know, 30 or so entries, but you tick over that one exponent value, and it just, you know, it takes an hour longer, and then 2 hours longer, and then 4 hours longer, then 8 hours longer, and pretty soon your PC's unusable. You just hit the restart button. Fun science experiment. I want you kids to write me a C++ program that does the Fibonacci sequence basically using only recursion, and tell me exactly how long to the second it takes to do 96, the Fibonacci number in the 96th position of the Fibonacci sequence. Takes a long time. It's easy to do it on pencil and paper. There you go. Computer power has been misplaced. In Python, there was a cool script which allows you to store values for recursive stuff. It's been literally years since I even thought about that function, because I remember I wrote the Fibonacci sequence in a Python program. I shared it on Facebook, and then Ben, not you Ben, other Ben, you know, that Ben. I mean, you're both pretty cool dudes, but that Ben, not you Ben, said you should be using this function. And I said, yes, I'm fully aware of that Python function, and it's great. It does something about writing values to memory instead of holding them in, writing values to ROM, that is, instead of RAM, and then reading them and processing them with pre-written values. So something I didn't. It's been, again, as I said, a long ass fucking time since I read about Python and that exact function. So I can't really recall to you how exactly it works, why it works, or how to use it. But there is that thing in Python. I don't know. I'm sure there's a similar thing in C. But do know this: theoretically, computer science, it is always easier to read a file than it is to do computation. Okay? Okay. I'm going to say it one more time, just for everyone in the classroom who's not listening. It's always easier to read data from a file than it is to make data from computation. And this is why modern computer systems used in audio synthesis and audio processing use things called lookup tables. And basically what they are is a graph or an array, and you have basically two or more axes of data, and you have points, which are, you know, series of information stored in the array, in the vector, whatever they're stored in. I don't really give a shit. They're usually stored in CSVs or something very simple, either binary or as basic as you can get storage, so they're easy to access and they're what's the word? Accessible, interchangeable, backwards compatibility issues are low. Source file manipulations is easy and fast. There's no security to bypass. There's no conversions to do, because as we said, looking up values is easier than finding a value. Like if you want to, this is why pi and all irrational values are you know, are contentious issues, because oh my god, because they're very big, they're very long, they have a lot of digits. It takes literally years to get quote unquote good precision, which isn't true really. But if you can go to Google or DuckDuckGo or all the web or any one of your preferred, ask Jeeves, why not? Use Ask Jeeves and just ask them for the value of pi. They give you an answer to, you know, 20, 50, 100 decimal places. Good value. But that's stored. That's a number that's been written down, right? Very quick to access. It's a metaphor. It's a physical metaphor that you can actually enact. So yeah, instead of spending your entire afternoon working out pi to 90 decimal places, you just go to your search engine on the web, type in what is the value of pi, and it will give you pi to so many decimal places. And that is essentially what's happening with your PC. Instead of your PC doing an analysis of a division to find out the value of pi, your PC is going to look at a file, and the file will be like 3.147652987. That's not even correct. But it will tell your PC the value of pi that's stored in memory. In fact, math library in C has pi built in, or one of the math libraries in C has the value of pi built in, and one of the other value. Is it C for Unix doesn't have it, or C for Unix does have it, and C for Windows does? I can't remember. Look, okay, one of the math libraries has it, one of the math libraries doesn't. But anyway, that was when it was from a book, you should read it, called C++ for Audio Processing, I think, or is it Python for Audio Processing? Shit, that might be why I know so much about Python and not C++. Oh well. Anyway, so yeah, back to lookup tables and synthesis and specifics. Calculating a sine wave. A sine wave requires pi, which requires a calculation if you want to do it all computationally. So you've got to work out pi, and then you've got to work out sine of an angle for a full sweep. And you've got to basically, if you're doing that per tick, that's hard on your PC. Your PC is not going to keep up with that. 100% guarantee. There's a lot of very small fractions, a lot of irrational numbers floating around, and it has to update the value on tick, which is always slow. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying updating a value on tick is slow, but you get what I'm saying, right? Computing a value for tick, I mean, I'm not talking about visual tick. I'm talking about audio processing now. Just briefly on a tangent, on a little side chain here. So screen refresh rate 60 hertz is nothing, right? Video processing is very, very intensive on memory, on reading and writing huge amounts of pixel data. But audio baseline really these days in the modern era should be at least 44 kilohertz, right? 44,000 hertz, which is hold on, let's do the math. See out 44,000 divided by 60. $733 times faster or more than sorry, was that a big flex? It wasn't meant to be a flex. For God's sake, cursor. I hate that click and drag thing that copies things. I hate it. We have a Control-C for a reason. Anyway, so your audio has to refresh 733 times more times, 733 times as much as your monitor, okay? Essentially, ideal situation. Baseline, okay? Which means, it's got to update your sine curve at least 44,000 times a second, right? So there's 44,000 points in that sine wave, right? Now, I'm not saying you should have a lookup table with 44,000 intervals of t, which is, it would be ideal, but the file might be a little bit bigger than some people want to work with, especially if you're doing with embedded audio, if you're dealing with mobile audio, whatever. Although mobile phones are pretty good at doing PC stuff these days, so who am I to say? But you can have a lookup table which isn't maybe quite as precise, and then you can use interpolation, which is a basic mathematical function rather than irrational computational using very large float values or doubles in the case of high precision stuff. So yeah, and that's one. You could have a massive lookup table which is very detailed. You could have a slightly less detailed lookup table with interpolation, or you can have full computation, which is, I guess, quote unquote, the most accurate, but will also take you a literal eternity to be actually accurate. So it's always a trade-off. It's always a trade-off. I'm not saying it's not a trade-off, but it is always faster to look up a value than it is to work a value out. Anyway, what were we doing? Functions. I should probably at least go through. Oh, I'm calling a function. It's called fact. Oh, they've written a function called fact. Oh, it's a factorial function. Because this is how long information stays in my brain. We were just looking at this. This is why I was talking about recursion and lookups and computation. What am I doing? Linus did not make Linux. No, he did not. I am learning C++. Welcome. I'm almost certainly going to stop at the end of this function section. So if you were interested in like stuff, but you can chill around and drink some coffee. I've still got most of this bottle of coffee left anyway, so I'll be here for at least a few more minutes. But yeah, I'm drinking coffee. I'm learning C. We just did. If you're interested in C, if you know anything about C, you can roast me on how bad this code is. I'll leave it on the screen for you to analyze. If you need to see the function, am I familiar with any other languages? I have done the solo learn course for Java, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, and Python. I probably can't write a program in any of those languages anymore. Python is probably the next best option. Python or just plain C, which is all entirely encompassed within C++ anyway, so it's kind of a moot point. But yes, I started learning C like 2 months after I graduated from university because I was going insane at a part-time job, and I thought maybe if I learn C, someone will hire me to be a developer. And then you know how C or computer programming and computer science looks like a really well packaged, beautiful high-end boutique. That code is C. This code is C++. Yes, you are correct. I'm currently doing C++. That's why the stream is called C++ Primer. If you're interested in the book that I'm working from, it is the C++ Primer Volume Edition 5. It's available on all your favorite bookstores, wherever you buy books. It's a popular book, used by loads of people, recommended to me by great people on a great Discord server. Yeah, I won't give them a direct shout out because I feel like maybe they wouldn't appreciate that, but if you're watching and you're from that Discord server, thank you. You mainly learn from C++ websites and reading other forums. Yeah, I find forums less than helpful most of the time. I find most of the time I ask an extremely specific question and I get a general answer from some dude who thinks he knows what I'm trying to ask him, but I'm asking a completely different question and he's missed the point, and then they get angry when I say, that's not what I meant, dude. It's not. I don't really find forums that helpful, to be honest with you. Like, again, there are very certain specific people who I can, ask questions to who actually do coding. And they are extremely helpful. Especially when I say, I want to do this, I've done this, and this, and I just see their face kind of like turn green. Oh yeah, already asked questions. Yeah, that is good. In fact, if you watch Stack Overflow is great actually. Stack Overflow is pretty good. If you watch my last VOD for my Unreal Engine stuff that I did last week, I go insane for 2 hours trying to find a function to get my player character to rotate to my cursor player character object. So there's two objects within the player character blueprint. One of them's controlled by the mouse, one of them's controlled by the keyboard, and I wanted one of them to point to the other one. Mouse aiming in an isometric top-down view. Duh. Easy peasy. And I went, the Unreal Engine forum, there was a guy, top recommended answer, 500 upvotes. It was like, yeah, just get the dot product between the two objects. No problem. You can extrapolate that from world position. Easy peasy. And then you do the inverse cos of the dot product between those two angles and you get the angle that you want. And I was like, great, that's fantastic. I spent an hour trying to find the inverse cos. It's under ACOS, not ArcCos. Thank you, Unreal. Why can't I find ArcCos under typing the word ArcCos? Doesn't make any sense. I know ACOS is a nice contraction of ArcCos, but I haven't done maths in about 20 years. That's a lie, actually. It's not been 20 years. It's closer to 14, but anyway. And then I found out that that function does not actually return the correct rotational value for the object that you're trying to rotate, and there is in fact a function. I am not going to do that. Yeah, I didn't do it either. There's actually a function called getLookAtRotator, which you get the object that you want to rotate, you get the object you want it to rotate to, and it just gives you the rotation. And it's just, why was that at the bottom of the page and not the recommended answer? I don't know, but it made me angry. And it took 2.5 hours to find. Like, the schism between, like, what I want to do, how easy it is to do, and having the knowledge to actually enact it quickly is just so huge. It's ridiculous. Like, rotating an object with respect to another object should be easy, and it is easy, but you can only do it if you know about that little widget, and it's ridiculous. So I'm just reading this chapter. Welcome to the club. Yeah. I kind of figured. That's basically all it is, isn't it? It's not, sometimes it's not knowing what you want to do, it's finding out how that actually happens. If I do any Unreal today, it's probably going to be real late, so I'm sorry. I usually do Unreal on Mondays, but I'm going out this evening, and it's 2 p.m. already, so it's kind of the thing that I'm gonna get absorbed into, and you know, I don't want to do that, because I'll cut myself short, and then I'll be stressed about it for the rest of the evening. It's not gonna be a good thing. But later, like 11 o'clock, midnight-ish, I might be back on doing Unreal. C++ names have scope. Wait, what? Return types. Return type can be void. Does not return a value. A return type may not be an array or a function. Okay. What is the difference between a parameter and an argument? A parameter is in the function definition, and an argument is the information you give it. There we go. I'll indicate which of the following functions are in error and why, suggest how you might correct the problems. Int f, string s, return s. Okay, so you have an int function that returns a string. That's illegal. Probably want a string function, I guess. f2 int I. Okay, so that's fine. That doesn't have a type. Doesn't have a function type. You need a function type int or whatever it returns. Int calc, int v1, v2, int v1, int v1. Okay, you have you have two parameters with the same name. Double square, double x, return x times x. Double square, double x, return x times x. That's fine, right? That's fine. That feels fine. Write and test your own version of fact. No thank you. Write a function that interacts with the user asking for a number and generating the factorial of that number. Call this function from main. No thanks. Write a function to return the absolute value of its argument. I'm good. So we covered the function chapter practically instantly there. It only took like 20 minutes. Oh, Linus did not make Linux. Thank you for the follow, dude. Again, I do C usually in the early afternoon every Monday, and I do Unreal Engine in the late afternoon / darkest depths of night on the same day. Video games on Sundays and Tuesdays, cause gotta play video games on Twitch. The Wii. But I'm gonna stop now. Because we did the functions thing. We already used the function last episode. Can I call them episodes? Last week. It's there. It's divide float, alpha beta. There you go. And just if you were wondering, it's a very easy function. Big thumbs up. Didn't take any time to write at all. This took time to write, and in fact, friendly Twitch viewer helped with that. I've no idea what it does. It probably deletes system 32. Knowing my luck. Anyway, so god damn it. Do you want to raid someone? So this is the thing, right? I don't know who you'd enjoy raiding, But the only person that I follow who's online right now is Bob Ross. Oh god, you can see that, can't you? Because I'm about to stop this. And I don't know how to raid people. But maybe we can just raid Bob Ross. Something went wrong. Try running that quick action again. Okay. Come on, Bob Ross. Okay. It won't let me raid. Go to science section. Yeah. We'll work that out another time, I think. Anyway, thanks for coming to watch the live video. If you came to watch the live video, thanks, Linus Didn't Make Linux, for the follow. It's very appreciated, and I hope you enjoy your time on the channel. Thank you for coming to watch the live video. Wait, no. What? I've done it wrong. This is my closer, and I fucked it up again. Sorry. Thanks for coming to watch the video on demand. If you came to watch the video on demand. And, yes, LMFAO. As always, I will see you in the next episode.